While the boys are in the bunker, I'm on the hunt for evidence of Hitler's last moves. There's no film of his death, and only a few eyewitness statements. But there is an expert on Hitler's suicide.
Christian, how you doing? Jeff.
Hello.
Christian Goeschel is a research fellow at the University of London.
Hitler was in a very fragile mental and physical state in the bunker, in which he had been living for weeks. There was no sunlight in the bunker, and Hitler began to neglect his physical appearance. He had been known to wear very tidy uniforms. He used to be obsessed with hygiene, but members of his entourage later said, "Oh, Hitler is finally having cake crumbs on his moustache. He's trembling."
And boom!
Hitler's physical condition in the last months of his life was, according to all accounts of people who saw him, deteriorating quite rapidly. He almost certainly had Parkinson's disease. He was shaking in his left hand. He was shuffling.
He had lost control of the events, but still, Hitler was the uncontested leader of the Nazi Party and of Germany.
One of the extraordinary things about the last days in the bunker, of course, is that Hitler still thought he was commander-in-chief of the armed forces. He thought he was still moving armies around. He sent out fantastic orders which never got to anybody. But of course, German resistance had more or less collapsed. The armies were fantasies. Hitler was basically just playing some vast war game.
And action!
In Hitler's private study, above his desk, he famously had a portrait of Frederick the Great. The boys have a clever trick that will allow them to add their own in later.
Hitler looked at it very often because he thought Frederick the Great of Prussia was a German hero, how he fought the 7 Years' War.
Frederick the Great had turned things around in the 7 Years' War. Berlin had been invaded. It looked as if all was lost, but somehow then he'd managed to rescue the situation and turned out victorious.
Are you happy with the lights? More or less.
Using more of our special green board, Colin plans to confront our Hitler with a map of his defeats.
That's good. I'd probably like about a good 10 seconds of just looking at the green picture.
Before I pick up the gun?
Before you pick up the gun.
Yeah.
Okay. And action.
The gun we're using is a replica Walther 7.65 pistol, the exact gun found beside Hitler's body. But what happened on the 30th of April, 1945?